Welcome to our 2024 Chicago Bears 7-round mock draft. Our Bears fan GM waste no time making an impression, trading the first overall selection in the 2024 draft to the Washington Commanders in exchange for picks number 2, number 36, number 40, number 67, and a 2025 first-round selection. After trading down from the first overall pick in the draft, our Bears fan GM makes it very clear that Justin Fields is QB1 for his Chicago Bears, by using the second overall pick to choose Marvin Harrison Jr., the outstanding wide receiver prospect from Ohio State University. Our GM says that one of the biggest issues facing the Bears last season was the fact that they didn't have a real, consistent threat at the wide receiver position other than DJ Moore. Marvin Harrison Jr. should have no problem stepping in as an immediate number 2 receiver for the Bears offense. Our GM believes that by 2025, Moore and Harrison Jr. would be viewed as wide receivers 1A and 1B for Chicago. Standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, Harrison Jr. is an explosive athlete with great size and speed. His footwork is outstanding and he's an excellent route runner with great hands and ball skills. Harrison Jr.'s combination of size, speed, and talent should bring another dimension to the Bears' offense and be a very nice complement alongside Moore and his talents. Coming into a situation where the team already has a true number 1 receiver that defenses have to worry about should help Harrison Jr.'s transition to the NFL, as teams won't be able to focus on him as much as they would if he was the top receiver on the roster. After addressing the wide receiver position with the second overall pick, our Bears fan uses the 9th overall selection to plug what he refers to as the gaping hole at the center of our offensive line with the selection of Jackson Powers Johnson, the massive center from the University of Oregon. Acknowledging that the 9th overall selection was higher than he would have liked to use for a center, our Bears fan explained that the only reasonable trades available for the 9th pick would have dropped him too low to still be able to get Jackson Powers Johnson, so he made the tough decision to go ahead and get what he referred to as his guy, in order to stabilize the interior offensive line. At 6 feet 3 inches tall and 334 pounds, Jackson Powers Johnson is an absolute mountain of a man who also happens to be an explosive and powerful athlete with exceptional play strength. Somewhat surprisingly, Powers Johnson is also extremely agile for a prospect of his size, allowing him the versatility to play anywhere along the interior offensive line. With the 36th overall selection, our Bears fan shifts his focus to the defensive side of the ball, attempting to improve the defensive line by selecting Darius Robinson from the University of Missouri. Darius Robinson is a high-motor, defensive line prospect whose elite size and play strength give him the versatility to play anywhere that is needed along the defensive line. Though he lacks elite burst and change of direction, when he lines up as a defensive end, Robinson does an excellent job of setting the edge in run defense, and is capable of using his overwhelming strength to bully his way through blockers to collapse the pocket. The addition of Darius Robinson to the roster should help new defensive coordinator Eric Washington fulfill his promise to be a team that generates pressure with our front four. After Eddie Jackson was recently cut, the Bears have a hole in their secondary, and our GM is using the 40th pick in the draft to address that issue with the selection of Cameron Kinchens, the outstanding young safety from the University of Miami. Cameron Kinchens is an alignment versatile safety with excellent range and good ball tracking skills. He isn't afraid to get involved in run support and is a violent tackler. Kinchens should prove to be a nice addition to their roster now that the Bears have moved on from Eddie Jackson. With the 67th overall selection, our GM looks to further improve the defensive line's ability to create pressure by selecting University of Michigan defensive tackle Chris Jenkins. Chris Jenkins, who is a freak athlete at the defensive tackle position, has an explosive first step and plays with a high motor. He does a good job of handling double teams and already has a good swim move in his repertoire. Jenkins needs to continue his development as a pass rusher, and needs to add more counters to his repertoire. With the 75th overall selection, our GM looks to add depth to the secondary with the selection of Kalen King, cornerback from Penn State University. Kalen King is a physical, high IQ cornerback who should prove to be a quality depth piece in Chicago's secondary. King has good vision, play recognition, and ball tracking skills. When you consider those traits and the fact that he has excellent scheme versatility, King would be an outstanding selection at this point in the draft. With the 111th selection, our GM shifts back to the offensive side of the ball, trying to add quality depth behind Cole Kmet at the tight end position, with the selection of Theo Johnson from Penn State University. Johnson is an intriguing tight end prospect with the prototypical size teams are looking for. He should prove to be useful as both a pass catcher and a blocker in the Bears' offense. He explodes off the line of scrimmage, runs good routes, and has reliable hands. Johnson also does a good job of finding the soft spots in zone coverage. At pick number 123, our GM has made another trade, sending the pick to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for picks number 133 and number 250. With the 133rd pick of the draft, our GM continues his efforts to improve the wide receiver position by selecting Brendan Rice from the University of Southern California. Brendan Rice combines elite size, speed, and athleticism with excellent hands and a large catch radius. He has room for improvement as a route runner, and needs to work on being more consistent with his production on a game-to-game basis. The trio of Moore, Harrison, and Rice at wide receiver should be a big improvement from last season. In an effort to add more picks for depth, our GM has made another trade. This time he has traded pick number 143 to the New Orleans Saints for picks number 167 and number 201. When it was time to make a choice with the 167th pick, our GM was shocked to find Christian Jones still on the board. Being able to select the offensive tackle from the University of Texas at this point in the draft was a stroke of luck that our GM openly admits he can't imagine happening, but that wasn't stopping him from taking advantage of the opportunity. With over 40 starts in college, Christian Jones is a very experienced tackle that has excellent size and play strength for the position. Having started double-digit games at both left and right tackle while at Texas, Jones would be an excellent addition to the Bears roster as a swing tackle. With the 201st pick of the draft, our GM looks to add more depth to the interior offensive line by selecting guard, Mason McCormick from South Dakota State. Mason McCormick is a strong run blocker with good arm length, powerful legs and a physical play style. McCormick does a good job of adjusting against pass rush moves, but he needs to improve his hand placement and do a better job of keeping his pad level down. With the 250th pick of the draft, our GM again finds himself drafting a player he doesn't believe would still be available, Quantez Stiggers from the Canadian Football League's Toronto Argonauts. A relative unknown to most average fans, Quantez Stiggers never played college football, instead working his way into the CFL by way of the fan-controlled Football League. In his one season in the CFL, Stiggers was selected as an All-Star and also won the award for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Stiggers recently participated in the Shrine Bowl and his performance there has his stock rising ahead of the draft. Thank you for checking out our 2024 Chicago Bears 7-round mock draft. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest NFL draft content from NFL Draft Direct.